Let's see. I think that's Holly Byers' dog. I see first. First off, Holly Byers' dog. Everybody have a decent day today? Oh, there we are. Holly, Andre Bay, Debbie Salzman, Michelle, Diana Cooper. Yeah, you got the crew. Got the crew. You guys want to hear my funny story for the day? Before we get, all I can say is wow for last night, Debbie Salzman. Yeah, you got no idea. But before that, funny story. It wasn't super funny. Hey, Candace. I was working in Gold Beach today, guys, and the wind every so often blows in Gold Beach. Like most days after about 1:30, it really gets going. And so I was finishing something, and I was up on a roof, and I'm up on the roof, and all of a sudden, a sticking gust of wind comes, and I hear my ladder crash down, right? Now, a reasonable person would say, well, what the crap, Jake? Did you not tie it down or anything? But every so often, it doesn't work out, and to put screws into somebody's siding and stuff like that, I couldn't mount it. So I jumped up there. I knew I was under the gun for time. Because it was starting to get windy, and I thought I could just jump up there and get it done real quick, but I'm up there and stinking wind starts howling, and I hear my ladder blow down. So there I am, and I kind of look around. Hey, Sarah Bird. I look around. I walk to the other side of the roof and trying to find a spot that, if I had to. My best chances of walking away from it. The real issue was the customer. The customer is I don't know, 75 years old or something, just an older lady, and I couldn't ask her to do anything. So anyway, I end up calling her on the phone though, and asking her if she has a neighbor or something, which is super embarrassing for a chimney guy to do. So I see her walk down the street, and she comes walking back with this dude, and I'm standing up on the peak of the roof looking down at him, and the guy kind of looks at me and smirks, And so I do I'm not going to do it, I can't do it for you, but what's the chimney thing, where the dude's kicking his legs and everything? I danced up there for a little bit until he got me down, so. That's my funny story for the day. Maria Ann Rose Mantle. Wow. Yeah, that's my funny story today. So, the council meeting last night. Yeah. I can't imagine anyone being super concerned about underground diesel tanks and the crap like that. So, we did, I'd mentioned, oh, that's right, last time I was on, that's right, I forgot about that. Last time I was on, I didn't really even go much over the agenda. We approved removing and kind of redoing a couple of underground fuel tanks that are at a sewer lift station, at 2 of them. The city council passed 2 different resolutions for the formation of a parks district. And so basically, one resolution they would need from the city of Brookings, if the county board of commissioners, voted yes to put it on the ballot, they would need that from us. In tandem, we also approved another resolution that they could use to, if the Board of Commissioners didn't do it and they had to, certify, but they had to do petitions, they would need the other one from us. So we approved both, got them to them. And then, so the subject, the topic of support for Project Turnkey. Support for Project Turnkey was was asked to be on the agenda by Brad Alcorn, and it was, typically counselors don't form the agenda or put stuff on the agenda. The city manager is solely responsible for putting together an agenda. And so, city managers, they'll stick stuff on the agenda that the council wants to talk about, right? So she asked for, basically she needed to hear from three different counselors that wanted on the agenda to let her know privately, and she would put it on the agenda. So it made it on the agenda. It was Councilor Alcorn, Councilor Schreiber, and Councilor McKinney that got on the agenda. And it was the agenda topic being support for Project Turnkey. If you read the council agenda report, it wasn't necessarily support for Project Turnkey agenda item. The issue was the fact that I wrote a a letter of support for Project Turnkey. Yeah, Beth. Yeah, it was on there. The issue that Alcorn took exception with was the letter of support that I wrote for Project Turnkey back. Originally, I wrote it for Diana Cooper and Michelle in the Brookings Homeless Task Force when they were originally applying for the grant. So that was. Oh, talking about the BOC. I got you, Beth. I got you. Sorry. Yeah, I missed that. So for those most of you guys would know and recognize when you see like a board member or a single city councilor or a single member of some board and they go and stand in front of people and talk or something, like they come to city council and talk. You always hear people like that say, I'm not here representing the board. I'm just here me, right? And so the Brookings City Council operates under that same deal, and ours is actually codified in the BMC. And it's a real short municipal code, and basically what it says is written or oral communication from single councilors of the mayor to the public that could be interpreted as representing the opinion of the whole needs to include a disclaimer that the opinion being provided is only that of the person providing it, right? So when I write letters of support or letters of endorsement or I guess that's the two. That would be the two. And it's just from me, I write the letter and disclaimer, disclaimer like asterisk disclaimer, this is my personal opinion, not representing the opinion of the city of Brookings. And that's the letter that, I did that with the letter of support, but they were, he was pretty chapped about that one. So that truly that was what was happening there. That was really what was happening there. And if you remember, I've been on for a stinking year now, but I know I've talked about it. I know I've talked about it more than once. The paramount importance that I recognize in a governing board to operate with some sort of cohesion and to not have a dysfunctional board. Typically, especially as mayor, not really advocating necessarily for things, but really just kind of facilitating and trying to find consensus and everything, But that, calling it a secret letter. But the idea of having a board that doesn't look anything like the Board of Commissioners for the county, that's the idea. And the city of Brookings, we've always kind of, as long as I've been on there, even with tense meetings, it's always been a level of professionalism that we were proud of. and that we held to, you know, and creating me creating a you know, a serious like rift in the council and kind of starting this fight thing wasn't something that I was ever going to do. Now you can imagine though, and I remember talking about it when I came on here, that, you know, this is kind of strange, and likely it's full of landmines, right? And very easily could I burn city councilors, or you know, I mean, I'm on here talking, right, and just talking, just chatting, chewing the fat, and you know, I'm gonna step in landmines. And so through this whole time, I was cognizant of the fact that I could end up getting sideways with the city council. And I spoke to you before about, you know, what happens when a mayor gets sideways from the city council, and you end up getting like your chain yanked real hard, right? So that was what happened last night. Really, it was an attempt at like a disciplinary action, you know, against me. The you know, what you, Diana and Michelle, what you guys got, you know, was kind of, it was all part of that. It was all part of that. So basically last night, to blow this out of proportion, yeah, so seeing it coming, okay, because, you know, the last few months, right? Think back to a few issues, and it was becoming very evident that anything that I brought forward, or any people that I came forward with or came forward with me, were, you know, stinking shut, right? And, you know, the basic kind of common, you know, the whispers around, right? The whispering around. So I mean, I was catching the drift. I was catching the drift the last couple months. When this actually made it on the agenda, and I found out that it did in fact make it on the agenda, I knew I knew a few things. I figured on a few things. I figured on likely who I would hear from and what I would hear, and I thought I could point out a few likely scenarios as far as how it would all end. Okay. What I didn't expect was kind of some of the you know, well, like the whole secret letter thing, and painting a narrative that something like malicious or underhanded was going on, you know. That one surprised me. That one really surprised me. Nothing else really did, you know. I knew that they wouldn't like it, and I knew that it would be a serious issue for them to live with something that they didn't have any control over, you know, and just to kind of let it die. So I was expecting to show up, you know, and take my medicine, right? If you and I get recalled together, Dave Barnes. Yeah, behind closed doors. That was another one, Candace. But I went there having already decided that I wasn't going there to fight, and I left my guns at home, and I didn't wear boxing gloves to the meeting, and was just going to see what happened, and see who said what, and so it could give me an idea where to go from there, right? So at kind of the onset of the agenda item, Councilor Alcorn took quite a bit of time and laid out his case and his issues, and then it kind of went down the line. And during Councilor Alcorn's narration, he also he mentioned conversations with the city manager and things that the city manager had said to him, and the things that the city manager had said to me, and so there was like a narrative and factual information that was being put out there that that I was kind of waiting for someone to like call call a point of order, and I was looking for a hand to like get raised or something to rebut and to state the fact that the narration there was off. But that didn't happen. So I knew it didn't take me long to figure out that there was a majority of the council here that have their mind made up. Okay. So he drug us through the mud with no chance to respond, Diana. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's man, it's an amazing thing how convinced every one of us can be in our own mind, in the fact that our own beliefs and behavior is justified, and how half a dozen decent people with when I say someone is a good guy or a normal person, he's a good person. Well, it's comparative, right? I mean, as good as anybody else. So how is it that a handful of good people can come to such completely different conclusions and to see something so completely different? I don't know. What was this all over about? Well, Dave Barnes, it was all because I wrote a support letter. It was all because I wrote a support letter. So anyway, so to wrap this all up, I is left with the decision of to shut up, take my medicine, and kind of be a pony whipped mayor, right, for the rest of my term, or fight back or resign. It's kind of like it's those, right? At the meeting, after I heard from counselors and after I mean by their own by things that they in fact said, a violation was perpetrated. A violation of the BMC was perpetrated by a phone call that Councilor Alcorn made. It wasn't a letter that I wrote. And in the discussion, it was clarified that there were serial meetings that weren't open, right? So I don't know how to deal with that. When I heard that and my gears are turning, the thought of fight and like kind of scorched earth policy, that crossed my mind. That really did. But when the vote went down, I'll tell you, I'm kind of bouncing everywhere. When it was all said and done, and it was obviously shown to me that there are 3 counselors that it is what it is, and they're going to a direction, and that's it. Oh, you guys, if you resign, there's no hope for what we are trying to do. If you resign, yeah. So the idea of going like scorched earth when I know there's no good that would come of it. There's no good that would come of it at all, at all. And Michelle or Holly, Diana Cooper, Candace, you guys, is it not evident that if you come before the city council and you're with me, or it's something that I'm proposing, just think about things as simple as monarch butterflies and what happened there. And what happened there it was only because it was something that I was supporting, right? So I'm not, I wouldn't do you guys any good. I wouldn't do you guys any good at all. It just wouldn't, it wouldn't happen, Michelle. And Michelle, they'll do worse things if you leave. I don't know. There's there's a lot, and I've thought a lot about it, and I've done the. It's been in the rock tumbler for probably a month and a half. Thinking about different ways this could wind up, right? But with a council that is obviously done with me, and I've lost the trust of the council, even though I was pretty surprised, and I actually thought that I had earned more respect from at least a couple of those people than what I guess I did. So that the scorched earth and having a me being there just to use my podium and to kind of brawl with the council all the time just isn't, it's just not an option, guys. So I did in fact resign this morning from being mayor, effective immediately. I know how that is going to, I know that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt some of you. And I know, I get it. I do. But believe me being there won't help you. It won't help you at all. It'd probably be the opposite. So, that the issue is what's going on up at the county and how those meetings operate and how you have someone there that should have resigned quite a while ago. That's not going to be me, and hopefully that's not going to be the city council. It's not my decision how the city council runs anymore. But I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy that is obviously sideways of everyone else. And though I have the gavel, it will be made evident to me at every single meeting that I'm not the one in charge. So now you can speak freely, Dave Barnes. I know, but here's the thing. Because I thought about that. I've thought about that plenty, and I'll be thinking about it for forever probably. But I am not going to try to burn that place down as I'm walking out. I just can't. I just can't. I can't do it. And even after last night, seeing and hearing it, and all the while being browbeat like there's something wrong with my ethics, that I am being underhanded, all the while. And believe me, the idea of stepping back from a bully is not something I'm accustomed to at all. It is, especially when it's amateur hour. That's not something that I'm accustomed to. But um, I care too much. I care too much about that place. I do, guys, and I'm not going to burn it down. So other people can make their judgment calls. You know, there were a lot of what happened last night, and the perspective that other counselors had of me and what I've been doing in the community. I can empathize with quite a bit of it. I mean, truly, you know, I understand that I'm sure more than once they've been put in a pretty tough spot by things that have come out of my mouth on here, you know, and that I would not, that would be an uncomfortable position for me if Ed Schreiber got on Facebook all the time and was chatting, you know, and I came up, and it's awkward. It's awkward, and it's tough. It's a tough spot to be in. So I'm not going to rail. I'm not going to rail against him. You know, there were a couple things that I'll rail against. One, it was kind of the with Counselor Alcorn's narration and the innuendo and like hyperbole and just the jabs during the prepared speech. You know, secret letters. Starting off by Jake's been a politician for 10 years. You know, kind of deal, which is really interesting. You know, secret letters. I'm hiding stuff. Mentioned something about like maybe an inability, or they were going to have to get my support letter from someone other than me because if they asked me, I wouldn't hand it over or something. I don't know. I did. I sent it all to them at the meeting because it was the first time that they asked. And I stated clearly the reason I didn't bring it up, because I didn't. The city manager knew that I wrote one, but I didn't mention it to any other counselor. It's a political hot topic that we've discussed turnkey, the possibility of Project Turnkey, you know, as a council, and it's a politically divisive thing that already, you know, emotions were high, and I wasn't going to. I had no qualms about not mentioning a letter of support that I wrote at all. So how it ended up, you know, I'm trying to get this to make sense for you guys. How it ended up was Councilor Alcorn moved to have the city manager write a letter stating that the city council didn't support Project Turnkey at this time. Not verbatim, but that's what the motion was. Myself and Councilor Hedenskog mentioned a couple of, you know, tried to get him to kind of think about just the process and how we would normally do things, and how we don't normally approve the mayor signing a letter before it's even written. It's a strange way. It's a strange way to do it, but they didn't go for that, and the vote was, you know, 3 yeses, and Councilor Hedenskog and I no, you know, so it passed, and the letter went out addressed to the foundation that Diana Cooper, you know, would have applied to get the grant. So it's a pretty interesting thing. I can't think of when the city council has ever written a letter of non-support for something like that, and strange, right? Because the city council's not, you know, they're not necessarily aware of a lot of the things that I do or say to people or I write. Just like I'm not aware of what they do all the time. I mean, it's their own prerogative, right? So, yeah, the two things that I'll poke at. One is all the innuendo and everything coming from Alcorn and Schreiber, and then the fact that you know, Councilor Schreiber had been communicating with my dad. Now you can imagine that if your son is the mayor, it can be kind of touchy, right? Like, so my dad, even though he's kind of a political guy, he has his strong opinions. Well, when I'm the mayor, he doesn't like, I don't see him too often at City Hall, right? Well, it's amazing. Lo and behold, he was at City Hall last night and at the council meeting last night, and yeah. Thanks to Counselor Schreiber, my dad was there, and in fact, my dad being there was really the only reason I didn't resign last night on the spot. So that's one of those, like, it's all well and good thinking that there's nothing like personal, until there's something personal just like that. So I don't know. I don't want to say anything more about it. If you guys want to know, you could watch the meeting. Even if you watch the meeting, it wouldn't necessarily, you'd hear everything that was said, but you would hear everything that was said in no microphone in a public meeting. Orchestrated, yeah. Well, it's something. It's something when it's evident that there's a great deal of preparation that goes into something, and that that hurt. That one hurt. I having done this long and thinking about my time being over, and when the time that I get my plaque, right? The time that I get my plaque and my pat on the back and my opportunity to speak to the public and to speak to the council and staff and share stories and give all my thanks and everything, and to go out, like I would have liked. It isn't going to happen, and it's definitely not something that I wanted. So my plan, you gave a masterclass. Hope you set an example for another. Jake, let's keep the chats going. Debbie Salzman. Yeah. Well, so yeah, I know, man, that sucks. So I am going to be Maria Sedith. I've got to bail on you on Thursday. I had planned to have Maria on with me on Thursday because she's running for the SWAC board, but I'm not gonna be on Thursday. I will. Silas and I will come on Sunday, and because I want you guys to be able to hear Silas play and let a little time pass for me too. So if there are any, like, kind of parting words that I wish to impart, I'll be able to do that and just kind of be able to chat. Just say my piece, say my goodbyes to you guys. So I'm gonna see you guys Sunday. Candace, I saw you ask about the interview, so I was still planning on doing your Wednesday interview. Interesting thing today. I got an email from Jack. I think his first name was Eric from Jackson County Public Radio, wanting to interview me about the increased homeless death rates. So that'll be interesting. Want to be a county commissioner, Dave Barnes? No, dude, no. But you know who might want to be a county commissioner and actually might fit in pretty good up there? Stinking Brad Alcorn. I don't know, man. Yeah, he'd fit in. Okay, so anyway, so I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys Sunday. Sal and I will see you guys Friday or Sunday, and it'll be cool. It'll probably be kind of tough and maybe kind of sad, but it'll be cool. The worst thing about all this is, as it turns out, what's her name? Lucette. As it turns out, Lucette gets the last laugh. So, all right, guys. Until Sunday. Be good, be safe, and take it easy. All right.